Hello, everyone. So, this is my latest film on Dartmoor, and I've changed the format slightly for this one, mainly because I wanted to do an intermittent voiceover on it, because there's quite a lot to describe, rather than writing a lot of text, which is a bit tedious to read. I thought I'd give sort of intermittent commentary. But it's not going to be like the films that I do where I recommend a certain route that you can take to enjoy a walk. And that's because basically this is a walk that I did recently with my friend, and we were trying to tick off a few more prehistoric sites on the south side of the moor. So we were making our way from one to the other, and we started in a very accessible part of the moor, but ended up walking over some very rugged, strenuous terrain. So I wouldn't recommend it as a walking route, but I wanted to show you various maps as we go, just to show you where the particular sites are. And also, we came across quite a lot of other places of interest, more to do with recent industrial activity on the moor, and the sort of natural history of the moor, the rock formations and so on. So it's a bit of a mix, this one, and it's going to take a little bit of description. So as I say, I'm going to do a commentary instead. Hope you enjoy it. So we parked the car close to Cadover Bridge, which is a very popular place for local people to go and picnic and park their cars, enjoy paddling in the river and so on. So Cadover Bridge itself is a very crowded area, but as soon as we got away from it, we saw one person the whole day. So we made our way up the path from the place where we parked to Trowlesworthy Farm, and then we went on past Trowlesworthy Farm until we came to a leat, which is the Lee Moor leat, which carries water from the River Plym down to the China clay workings at Lee Moor. And when we got to the leat, we turned right, and you walk about half a mile or so down there until you come to an area where you have prehistoric remains on both your right and left hand side. And these remains are the Trowlesworthy groupings. They're basically divided into the eastern and western parts. But the first thing we did was take a look at a stone row off to our right. So it's possible to see the row on Google Maps satellite view. And then a bit further down the leat, there's a stone row that actually crosses the leat, a stone circle, then the stone row, and as I say, it crosses the leat as well, goes off on the right hand side. That last group was roughly in the area where that red circle is, and you can see the leat flowing down into that huge area of whiteness, which are the china clay works themselves. Basically, china clay is a sort of kaolin product of the decomposition of granite. So as granite deteriorates through acid erosion and vapor erosion, it turns into a sort of chalky product, and the rocks can be crushed and washed, and then the china clay itself is used for a lot of purposes, but one is to coat paper, so you get that sort of glossy magazine finish on the paper. So we made our way anyway from that red circular area up onto the path above the china clay works there, and we're making our way along that path. But from there, I took a shot to show you how extensive the china clay works actually are. And where we were heading to next was a standing stone off to the left of the path underneath that circle there. You can just about make it out on satellite view. This stone is one of only a few that exist on Dartmoor that are isolated menhirs, so they're not associated with any neighbouring rows or circles or anything. They just seem to be standing in isolation on the moor. This particular one is known as the hanging stone, and there are a number of theories as to why that is. It might just be that over the centuries it's slowly leant over, so it's now hanging at an angle of 38 degrees. But there's a tradition that it was used in an initiation rite for young men as they became shepherds on the moor. There's a very large sheep farming community in this area of Dartmoor, and right up until the 19th century, sheep theft and sheep rustling was punishable by hanging. It was a capital offence. So what they used to do with young people as they grew up to join the shepherding community was to put a halter around their neck and sort of suspend them from this rock overnight so that just their feet were touching the ground, so that if they were to fall asleep or anything, they'd slowly asphyxiate. And it was a kind of warning to them of what would befall them if they were to steal any of the sheep. And that's a sort of tradition that seems to have stuck, seems feasible. But my friend there is standing as close to it as he could get to give you an idea of the height of it. Underneath, the cattle have rubbed themselves against it, so the whole area underneath it is very muddy and churned up, so you can't really comfortably stand directly underneath it, but that gives you an idea of its height. The hanging stone is just off the bottom of this map here. And next up, we wanted to go to the Trowlesworthy tours. You have the Great Trowlesworthy tour, which is under the circle there, and just beyond it is the Little Trowlesworthy tour. But this is where we began to find the going a little bit difficult. If you go in a straight line from the Hanging Stone to the Trowlesworthy tours, you soon get into a very wet, boggy area. This is just one picture I took as we were crossing it. You can see there's a lot of standing water there. It's very soft underfoot. And we ended up having to take quite a wide detour around to the right rather than going in a straight line. So a little bit stressful to say the least, but we got there in the end. So we sat down and had lunch on Great Trowlesworthy tour and recovered. And then what we'd gone there to see, this is a sort of zoomed in satellite view of Little Trowlesworthy tour at the top there, and in between Little and Great Trowlesworthy tour there are all these work stones that look very mysterious. And there's actually a small quarry on Little Trowlesworthy tour, and they've probably been cut from that. And the cylindrical one in particular was originally intended for use in Devonport at the dockyard there, and it was cut in 1823 when Devonport was given its independence from Plymouth, I suppose, and it was intended to be used as the base of a flagpole, but for some reason it was never finished, and it's just been left there. But it's extraordinary, really. When you're up there, you seem to be miles from anywhere. They're completely inaccessible, and how on earth they would have got them down? Well, they must have had some kind of way of getting the cut stones down. But the quarry itself is fascinating as well. And I picked a small piece of the granite up from it. It's a sort of reddish granite, pinkish colour. And the color itself is an indication that the granite is undergoing that decomposition and slowly turning into kaolin. So it gives it a very interesting pattern and color, which makes the stone highly desirable for ornamental work and architecture and so on. This is the small piece of granite that I brought back with me. You can see how interesting it is. It's full of little shimmery specks and red and grey patterning. If it was polished up, it would look fantastic, almost like marble. Next up, we're going from here, little Trowlesworthy tour, to here, which is the Brisworthy stone circle. And that in itself was no easy task. It took me a little while to summon up the courage to clamber over a particular spot in the river. I spent some time trying to select the shortest and safest way across from one stone to another, and the spot I found was where there was little islands, so you could do it in 2 stages, but I didn't find it particularly comfortable to get across. And then once on the other side, you're traveling through an area which is waist deep in bracken, and the ground underneath is really uneven. There's obviously been a lot of digging and peat digging and tin working and whatnot underneath it, and you just don't know where you're putting your feet, and you can disappear down ruts and gullies and all kinds of things. But again, we got to the stone circle in the end. So after the Brisworthy stone circle, we made our way back across the River Plym back to the car at Cadover Bridge. We were running out of time. unfortunately, but there are a few other items of interest in the area. There's another stone circle quite close by at a place called Yellowmead, and another stone row, I believe, close to Legis Tor. But we're going to have to include those on another walk on another day. So thanks very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you again on the next video. Bye for now.